Good to have you with us. South end zone of Kyle Field, Studio 12, another edition. Will and Matt with you. And guess what, Matt? We're going to start on the front porch again.
The name is stuck, Will. I'm conceding it.
Yeah, I don't.
Connor, he gets stubborn about it. If he's dead set on this,
this
it's going to be the front
guy,
porch.
my co-host is defying me. He won't try alligator gar. He had a brief lapse there where he thought front porch may not be the best name, which we all know it is.
Of course, yeah. No,
So,
I'm pretty stuck on the front porch myself as well. And as far as you not trying alligator gar, it's going to happen.
I doubt that.
I promise you it will.
This guy's an offensive lineman. He can pin you down and make you try alligator gar.
I'll have to not be in practice ever.
Yeah.
Will even drew a logo on my dry erase board in the office. He's got a front porch.
Oh, yeah, you
show
need to
logo.
come. After we're done taping, you need to come to Matt's office. We've got the whiteboards in the office now help us schedule things, and we kind of schedule Studio 12 on it. I came up with a front porch logo.
I am distinguished now.
You may like
I like
this.
that.
That's
awesome.
We're going to turn it into like a full-on graphic. But, folks, as always, Studio 12 is powered by Kawasaki. Visit your local Kawasaki dealer and ask about the new Mule Pro FXR, a true boss vehicle. So Connor Lanfear with us on the front porch to start the show, and the stage is yours for whatever introduction you like of your honored guest here today.
Well, the guest today, very happy to have him here. He's a great teammate, great friend of mine, also my roommate, Keaton Sutherland himself. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man.
Do you feel honored?
A little bit. Not by this one as much, but by you guys for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you'd be able to get Keaton was here yesterday shooting some interviews for the Pulse, and when you said Keaton's coming with you, I was like, I don't know, that guy's not going to want one back in here.
I owe Connor for a couple stuff. So.
I see.
I
see.
But, he's probably watched the previous episodes of the front porch, and he wants to kind of be part of it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Well, I saw that you didn't want to try alligator gar, and I couldn't believe you wouldn't try it from him. He makes fantastic alligator gar.
What?
Because I grew up in Louisiana, right outside New Orleans.
That's what makes this extra surprising.
Yeah.
But I know what those things are. I know what they look like, and I know where they swim. I'm good.
Okay, if somebody from Flower Mound, Mark's Flower Mound, will try my alligator gar, someone from New Orleans, Louisiana, should be able to taste my alligator gar.
This man is out of excuses.
It's totally out.
I'll keep coming up with it. Don't you worry.
He's trying.
I got a whole list. Don't make me go to the allergic card. I'll go to
It's good to have a couple of offensive linemen with us today on the front porch. And you know what? When I grew up watching football, today you guys, you go by the Maroon Goons. That's kind of the nickname for the offensive linemen. But I grew up watching football, and this was an old school name like John Madden used to use for old linemen, and these big guys that used to be analysts on TV. And it kind of clicked. It's like, I wonder if two guys who play college football now ever heard this name in regards to offensive linemen, because they don't use it anymore. This is not in play now. But when I grew up, when I was a kid, they used to call them hog mollies. Have you ever heard that name in regards to an offensive
I think
lineman?
I might have heard that term used once, but I've heard like war pigs and the big hogs, big uglies, stuff like that.
Big uglies is kind of still around today.
Never. I think I might have heard hog mollies one time, but it's not a very commonly used term these days.
I'm too young for that.
I liked it, but I don't know if it could really catch on. It had its time. It's kind of in the past. Now, big uglies, that's stuck around for a long time.
I like the Maroon Goons. I think we should.
Well, yeah, for you guys specifically, yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Maroon Goons
without a doubt
certainly works. Last game, Texas A&M wins it 24-14 over Nichols, and now you look forward to Louisiana Lafayette this Saturday at Kyle Field. Now, I really want to ask both of you this. You think about the week of Nichols. You return at 5 a.m. from a previous game on a Monday. You take that Monday off. You don't get to look at Nichols really till Tuesday. And if you were like us here in this office, we ran on fumes for a few days because of that late return, and I can only imagine what it was like for you guys. How tough a week of prep was that, considering you got going on Nichols probably on a Tuesday?
It was a challenging week as far as preparation goes. Number one, just because our lack of time for preparation. I mean, like you said, we got back really, really late. It was a quick turnaround. We had a game on Saturday. Especially the O-line, we were all kind of really sore and beat up. I'm not going to lie. I was the sorest I've ever been in my life after that game, just because I think we just ran the ball so many times. There was a couple days that were a little bit hard to recover. And like I said a second ago, it was a quick turnaround. So it was difficult to just get back in the swing of things, considering we had such a late return and such an awkward schedule there for a couple days.
Keaton, same for you a little bit. Can
like
be difficult.
Said, like running on fumes, like we were still trying to catch up on sleep from coming back at 5, and it was tough. It was a long process to get back in the swing of things.
Well, Keaton, as much practice as you guys put in the off season, all the summer workouts, all that, it still takes just a little bit to get into the what you maybe call game shape after you play a couple of games, because it's a completely different animal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like UCLA, me and Connor played over like 100 snaps or something, so that's a lot different than just a practice you're going through. So after that, like you said, we were beat up, and then we had to get right back into it for the next week.
And Connor, you were at the press conference yesterday, and you mentioned some things about the offensive line. Just your thoughts on where you guys stand heading into this ULL game. As you don't look ahead to anything, but some people kind of call it the final tune-up for SEC play. Obviously, you're trying to win on Saturday, but also knowing those SEC opponents are out there after this one.
Right. We do know that our SEC opponents are knocking on the door right now. But as always, we're focused on coming away with the win this week in Kyle Field. This is going to be a better week for us because we're finally in a normal routine of things. We're not flying out of here on a Thursday. We're not, coming back at 5 a.m. We're finally in our normal routine that'll last throughout the rest of the season. So I feel like our preparation, at least the amount of time we have to prepare and get ready for this game is really going to benefit us.
Mm-hmm. And Keaton, you guys, in that last one, you guys blocked for two really good backs that people have talked about for quite some time, Trayvon Williams and Keith Ford. Well, in the last game, another one got an opportunity in Kendall Bussey. Running behind you guys, it's a guy, he waited his turn, and he really did a lot with it on Saturday night. When you see a teammate do that, does it kind of make you feel good about they went through that process to see the field, and they made the most of it when they got that opportunity?
Absolutely, yeah. You're just really proud for that kid. I mean, Kendall came up. He stepped up for the game. I mean, he's had battled through injuries. He's battled through not being able to play, not having to wait his time, like you said, and stepping up like that was huge. Really proud of him.
There's a lot to be said for Kendall, man. So many kids today they don't get the chance to play right away within their first couple years. They're up and out of here and transferred like you see at so many programs across the nation. But someone like Kendall, who just, doesn't say much, kept his nose down and plugged away at it and worked hard, and he finally got his shot and he showed everyone what he can do. There's a lot to be said for him, and we as an offensive line and we as a team could not be more proud of him. He really stepped up when his number was called, and I think he did a tremendous job of it.
It's the front porch here with Connor Lanfear, his guest Keaton Sutherland today on Studio 12. Guys, I wanted to ask both of you this. I thought the message coming out of the Saturday game was an awesome one, and I'll have you all speak to it. Keaton, for you first. The two messages, I mean, no one's going to sit there and say it was a gorgeous, pretty win. It was, it was a grind. You guys had to grind through it. But the two messages out of that were that we heard in the presser, it's a win, and that was our number one goal. And number two was the fact that you had to work for it. You had to finish the game in order to get that victory. Speak to kind of those two messages afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest takeaway from it was, A, it was a win, and then, B, we did something we didn't do the week before, and we finished the game. And that was huge to see what we could do in the fourth quarter to put the game away and to end up winning it.
Yeah, for you, Connor, to be able to take that, because that drive starts, and you guys need those points desperately. Really, you needed all 10 of those points near at the end. Just speak to you all at being able to finish that game and maybe build off of the week before.
I mean, just like Keaton said, we did something we weren't able to do the week before, and that's close out a game. So being able to march down the field and put those points that we needed on the board, that was tremendous. And it's a great thing to accomplish something that you failed at previously.
Now, you told us in the open that Keaton was your roommate. You guys got anybody? Who else lives in the Casa de Lanfear?
Greer Shetler and Drew Beakey. Last year, London lived with us as well. But, of course, now he's gone and, with Baltimore and stuff. But he still comes back to visit every now and then.
Does he get the couch or does he kick one of you guys out of the room?
He gets the couch.
Well, that's
I got
why.
a nice little futon in my room.
To see
Well, that's
London
why,
lay on a futon might be pretty entertaining.
Well, our man Scott Retzlaff, who's directing today, he's a Ravens fan. You saw his Ravens shirt, and you gave him a thumbs up on that.
Oh, yeah.
That because of London over there.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the only reason. Just
Yeah.
because of London. No, got to support a buddy.
Yeah.
How fun is that for you guys? So, you know, especially in your position, so many guys have moved on to play in the NFL. Guys that you know, you've grinded with, you've worked with. How fun is that for y'all to watch these guys make it to take a snap in the NFL?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. Just the other day, my Jermaine Ifedi jersey came in, so I was really excited about that. Can't wait to get London's jersey in. So, I mean, yeah, watching those guys, I mean, go to the next level and continue to play well is awesome to see.
Who do you think's the messiest roommate, Will, out of these two?
I would think you're all messy if you're offensive lineman. I mean,
If you're the chef,
maroon goons, hog mollies. I'm guessing they live in a sty.
does he keep a clean kitchen, or
We
is
like
it
to
kind of
call
messy?
Connor's room a cave because everything's everywhere and he's always in there.
It's like dark.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty,
yeah.
like I just go in there and I mean within the first 5 minutes I'm home. It could be 6 o'clock. I'm in my room, passed out, dead asleep.
And when
It's
he
a
comes
bear
out,
cave.
he just has a big old blanket around him, just walking around like he's just dead asleep.
You guys keep the house at like 60, or do you?
Oh yeah, it's kept like a meat locker in there, man.
how it
We
should
keep
be.
it so cold.
But see, you know, like I said, roommates here, and he said he couldn't come on today. Connor couldn't, without these two relaying the story of, I guess it was Keaton's first hunt this summer.
Yeah.
First hunt. Connor took this guy hunting, and I got to hear how this went because
Okay.
there's a lot to it, isn't there?
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot to it. So what we like to do is the roommates every now and then. Greer Shetler has a ranch down in South Texas called Las Vegas Ranch. We all absolutely love to go down there. Like after the bowl game, we usually have a big group of our friends go down there for about a week and just stay out there and hunt all week. So we take as many trips out there as we can. Well, Keaton, we wanted to take him hunting for the very first time this past year, and we go out there. I believe it was May, right?
Yeah, I
it
think
was,
it was
sometime
May.
in May. So we're out there for probably like 4 or 5 days, just pig hunting. You know, it's not deer season or anything. And we decide the last day we're there, Keaton hadn't gotten to shoot a pig that week yet. A couple other guys had shot some pigs and stuff like that, and we just decide, all right, we got to get Keaton to kill something besides a rabbit. All right. So we call this fellow who trains dogs, and if you don't know, they're basically fitted with a little radio collar, and they're trained to just go out, catch a hot trail of a pig, and then chase it down, grab a hold of it until the hunters can run up there, jerk its legs out from under it, put a knee on it, and dispatch it, usually by the means of a big knife. So this is what's happening.
Dispatch it.
That's the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah.
So the night before, we're out until like 5 in the morning, just corning all these roads and everything, corning all these senderos, because during the night, those pigs will be up in there eating. And the next morning, you go out with these dogs, and they'll catch a hot trail from a pig that was just on that corn eating. So at about 7 a.m., we hear the dogs, "Arr, arr, arr," and we just take off through the brush. I mean, thick mesquite brush, just getting all torn up. And we finally come up on these dogs that have got 2 pigs, and they're just, I mean, tearing them up. So we grab them, pull their legs out, and nothing else said. We just hand Keaton the knife, and he's just kind of like, all right, and goes in. And, I mean, he took it like a champ, did it perfectly. And he was just like, wow, I see why you guys do this now. That was actually pretty fun. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush like you can't imagine, being that close to a hog that can tear you up if it gets loose.
Oh man, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no time to think either. Like, we got out of the truck, and they're just like, Keaton, go, go, go. And I was like, what? They're like, go. And so I'm just hurtling these trees and jumping through this brush, running as fast as possible. The dude just hands me the knife. He's like, go for it. I was like, all right.
Man.
It's a good time. I mean, I actually cooked that pig he killed about 3 days later, too. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
that was good.
It was pretty good.
So alligator gar, pig.
Now, pig, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good recipe for that, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's pretty good stuff.
You
I'm
know,
like, does he keep the kitchen clean at the house?
Most of the time.
Depends on what
If it's something I went out and shot or caught, yeah, and I do a big meal, yeah, I'll usually keep the kitchen pretty clean. But if I'm just like eating some leftovers or something, then I'll forget about a dish for like 3 weeks at a time. It's bad.
It's moldy.
I can understand. Yeah, they don't care for that too much.
Next week we'll have to have Connor bring up his bow hunting prowess. We'll save that for next week. We'll
Save
little
that one
tease
for
for the
next
next front porch. But
You're not going to believe
yeah.
me. Heads up.
I know. But supposedly it's happened. Keaton, Connor, thanks for the time here on the
thanks for
front
having
porch.
us.
Good luck on Saturday against those raging Cajuns.
Appreciate it.